Good afternoon, everyone. It's Wednesday, March 29th, 2017, 3:36 p.m. Finished work. My day of work was awesome. The awful thing is that the yard here is covered with mud. They were too cheap to make asphalt all the way to the back, if you can see here. And then I have to walk in this every damn time I get in my car. I have to put paper, like newspaper on the floor to make sure I don't miss my car, the bottom of my car. So yesterday we left out talking about the Mandela effect, how certain events are getting circumscribed by a change in unexpected change in the timeline. And I was talking about an event that I know I witnessed, but nobody else remembered. And I was trying to remember more events like that I'm aware of and people aren't. And none of them came to my mind because I could be as well affected to the timeline. Once in a while I have these souvenir of event or event or things that were there, and I ask people that I know and I say, do you remember this, how this was and this and that, and they say like, no I never remember, and I don't recall being like that or anything like that. So these are proof that sometime when you're spiritually out of the timeline, you do witness the effect of the Mandela effect. And sorry, I only have like 10% left of my battery on my phone, my camera, so it's gonna be a short one for today. But if you live through any event that happened to you and that only you remember, nobody else, put your comments on the video on just below in the comment section, and that will be interesting to know which event, which situation, which object was there that you were never aware of. And one thing I was asking another person, I was talking about time travel a while ago. We were talking about empty lot in many cities. And usually when you go down a residential area, some of them that's been there for a long time, you will notice sometime that there's going to be empty lot. You know, why is that section empty? Why is there nothing there? Why isn't there a house or anything like this? And this is here in Quebec. It's in many cities, because my job before, I used to work for a road asset management company, and we used to film and survey the roads with our system. And I traveled through a lot of cities here in Quebec, and just my hometown where I live in Brossard, there's a few cities like this, a good couple of cities like this, of lots like this that are empty, and they've been empty for as long as I can remember. And I was talking about temporal displacement, fixed temporal displacement, and it's when you use a time slip machine. Time slip meaning that your machine isolate you in time as you become a zero event in space and time, and you're fixed in that location, and depending on how your machine is tuned, you will move forward or backward, and you will see the time goes by like in the movie The Time Machine. You will live exactly this is what we call the time slip machine, a time travel machine that uses the time slip principle. And those empty lots, those empty space are meant for that, and the space that you're using can only be used one time. So I'm pretty sure that those were meant for that purpose, and we nobody ever witnessed these. because the time traveler that come out of time slip just appear out of nowhere. It doesn't make a flash or anything, so people aren't witness to that. So that's how it works, and I think that's why these empty lots are like that. Just an example, in one of my videos, I was working in Marieville, and right in front of the company where I was, there's a Bell workstation, communication station, and then in the back of that place there's a huge empty lot. And why is there an empty lot there? Why wasn't there any house built there? I'm pretty sure that there's something on the ground, but it also could be used for that, because I'm pretty sure that these company like Bell, any company that involves technology, at one point they had their own R&D department working on something like that, and they don't tell the public what they're doing. Just like Hydro-Quebec. Hydro-Quebec developed in the early 90s, the mid 90s, a electric car that was so efficient that it was going to revolutionize the transportation. It was the first hub motor, and that means that instead of having an electric motor inside the car, the electric motor is on all four wheels. And go, you idiot. And it's on all four wheels, meaning that you have traction, you have a four-wheel drive vehicles, and then when you're driving, two wheels can be the driving wheels and two wheels can be the regenerative wheels. So as you drive, at one point one wheel can take over, and then all three other wheels can generate energy. That's how brilliant they made it. And the oil industry didn't accept that, and Hydro-Quebec was not going to take that lying down, but they were blackmailing to shutting down this idea and never putting it in production until when it was needed. And back in the early 2000, they reopened the project. Around 2010 they reopened the project, and they say if they wanted this to become a free market idea, they sold the idea to the Chinese and the Japanese. And the Japanese didn't took on, because the oil industry in their country is very important. But in China, it started. They made it for a while, and now it's harder to find because it wasn't the success that they expected. In the United States, people are just starting to develop this idea, but they're still stuck to the idea of having a driving motor between the electric motor and the drivetrain and the gear in the back, instead of using a hub wheel motor. And the hub wheel motor would create a safer and more efficient vehicle, because a major weight is on all four wheels, which put the traction on all four wheels, so you don't lose traction, because these hub motor weighs about 50 kilograms, and that means that the whole rest of the vehicle can be lightweight, and they don't need a lot of batteries. On average, they would need 500 kilowatts of energy, which is a medium pack of batteries. And so it was too much efficient. There's a few guys in the United States that are starting to develop this idea where they're buying the hub motors, but the problem is they can only put it on a small car, because right now the Chinese didn't make the hub motors very powerful. It's still a very weak concept. The hub motor barely has 100 horsepower. An average wheel has 85 horsepower, which is not enough to drive a car, like a full-size car. The things are getting on their way, but the concept is a very good idea. It would be so efficient, because you just drive, oh, I'm at 50%, put back the rear wheels, you regenerate energy, and your batteries are recharged in 10-15 minutes. These permanent magnet hub motors, they don't create a huge field or a huge force when they're recharging. That is such a beautiful car. So anyway, back to time travel. Time slip technology. If you're using time slip technology, you can only use one fixed space and time at a time. You cannot use that fixed space and time again, because you might encounter yourself and hit yourself in subspace. So that's why I like the idea of using time vortex, grid points, and everything like this, because you're just opening a portal, and it doesn't matter if you use the same one over and over, and unless you come back to the exact same time. But you're using a portal that's going to send you back to the future or past, and you have to make sure that you calibrate your machine to make it a time destination that it's not the same every time. So batteries are running down. That's pretty much for it today. I'll try to see if I can talk more about other things very soon. On this note, have a good day, everyone.